If we look out here now, we can see that there's some reef showing up. Looks like the water is really dragging back now. This reef wasn't showing just a few minutes ago. It looks like the water is receding very quickly. So this is another one of the bigger draw out waves. I'll be watching very carefully to see if there's any kind of white water that shows up in as the wave kind of comes back ashore, because this is a, this is a precursor to something like that happening, to having a big push onto shore. You can see that, down here on the shore side, things are just kind of calm, really slow, not a lot going on. And now you can hear in the background the waves sort of sucking that water off the shore and off the reef. And pretty soon, in the next few minutes, it'll start to sort of push back on. And if it looks like it's going to do anything more than just fill up to the normal route, I'm going to just ditch. But at this point, it doesn't look like that's happening. Looks like we've got a really small wave height. It's starting to cover up those reefs out there. It's starting to cover up a lot of this stuff. But this is what a tsunami looks like from the shore. Very, very small one, but a tsunami nonetheless. Here comes the waves. So right now the height of the ocean is rising by about, looks like 3 inches or so. This is the push onto the shore. It's not a particularly tall wave, but you can see that it's just got a lot of force behind it because of how much just how much water is in the column. This is how tsunamis work. They're not a tall, short period wave. They're a very long period, very long, very inundating wave. And they just kind of keep rising for sometimes minutes, sometimes apparently all the way up to hours. But they'll just be pushing on shore. And you can see that there's a reflection, a reflected wave going back outwards into the sea. And this is on a very small scale, of course. But this reflected wave is what bounces between the islands. All during the night, tonight, we've had waves bouncing back and forth between the islands. We've had waves that have been, in some places, multiplying and in some places canceling each other out, so that some places had very large waves, some places probably didn't. And now you can see that the water is back up to, slightly below a normal low tide, which is kind of odd that, what with the tsunami being kind of supposed to be a pushing tsunami, that even now, after the fact, considerably after the fact, the water level is very, very low. Anyway, that was a tsunami actually hitting the island of Maui, here in Kihei, looking out over the West Maui Mountains. That's what it looks like.